Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies, bringing you a particularly awesome video, if I do say so myself. Games Workshop very kindly sent me every single new Tyranid miniature box set that is getting pre-ordered today as of time of release of this video. And I'm going to be giving you guys a bunch of videos over the course of the next week, painting up all these different kits and showing them off to you. I figured most creators who got the pilot promo stuff will probably do the Norn Emissary first. And that's what I thought I was going to do myself today as well. But I thought what I would do is I would save that for next Saturday, which is the general release of it. So you guys can watch that video as you have your own Norn Emissaries in your hands. So today I thought I would tackle something that I think is even cooler than the Norn Emissary, in my humble opinion. I think it is the greatest Tyranid sculpts that I have ever seen, and that is of course the unreal new Deathleaper model. It is incredible. I actually got to sneakily preview this at Warhammer Fest months ago, so I have been literally dying to get my hands and teeth sunk into this miniature for quite a long time now. I couldn't hold back anymore, and that's what I'm going to do here today. I'm going to paint it up in my custom chapter Hive Fleet, that's the word. I'll talk a little bit about my Hive Fleet as well in the video. I really do need to knock out all of the proper lore and give the color scheme and stuff to you guys so you can follow along if you are interested. Before I get into this video though, I just want to say two things. First of all, huge thank you to all of my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing. Without you, I would not be able to continue doing what I'm doing. If you are interested in getting involved in it, there are links below. You get access to a private Discord server and an extra video every single week for being a member. So I think that's pretty cool. 52 extra videos a year, not too bad. The second thing I want to talk about is on the 9th of September, which is next Saturday, I am doing a 12-hour-long marathon Twitch stream from 2 p.m. Irish time to 2 a.m. Irish time. And the idea is that I'm going to paint up an entire combat patrol in one 12-hour sitting. I'm going to be doing an Astra Militarum one. A bunch of people have already expressed interest in following along, so people are getting their combat patrols ready, and they're going to spend the 12 hours painting along with me to see if they can achieve the same goal, which I think is a lot of fun. If you are interested in joining me, and I hope you are, there will be links to my Twitch as well below. Make sure you give it a follow, and remember the date. Saturday, 9th of September, 2 p.m. Irish time. So 2 in the afternoon till 2 in the morning Irish time. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, without further ado, let's get painting Deathleaper. And this is, of course, the glorious Deathleaper miniature, which is just if Batman was a Tyranid, because it's got an epic cape. Why a Tyranid has an epic cape? I'm not arguing. I'm not even wondering. I'm not asking. I just think it looks awesome. This model is for sure my favorite Tyranid, and he will be used in pretty much every game ever. After the model was sprayed black and then given a heavy zenithal of Grey Seer spray, I moved on to Guilliman Flesh for the skin. My Hive Fleet is Hive Fleet Morrigan. Morrigan was an ancient Irish goddess. She's primarily associated with war, battle, faith, and death. So it's a fairly fitting name if it translates roughly to the Phantom Queen. So the Genestealer cult army that will go alongside this will be the Cult of the Phantom Queen, which will be super cool. I will write up a little bit more lore about this, but in my head, the Norn Emissary that I will be doing for this army will actually be Morrigan. That will be the Phantom Queen that leads the force. And it's a pretty epic thing to think about. I do like the idea of having custom Hive Fleets, custom chapters and stuff like that. And now there's a bunch of people out there who have copied my scheme. And I would like to kind of fill out the lore for them if they're curious to know about it. So I'm going to continue on and do that. It will be on the Mediocre Hobbies website at some point in the near future. I will have a different section on the website for all my my specific armies. I'll give you my backstories. And if you want to follow along or join in, then you are, of course, more than welcome. So like I said, the Guilliman Flesh contrast was applied to all of the soft parts of the skin. My Tyranids are based around kind of frosty ice worlds. It's the only army I've done in a frosty ice scheme. I don't really like frosty ice schemes, but I decided to do one army in them. And this is how I did it. Add a little bit of warmth and depth to it. I added some Carroburg Crimson shade across all of those soft bits as well. This is a very quick and easy step. It's actually a very quick and accessible scheme. A lot of people who have been doing the scheme have said that it is quite easy to do. It scales up to different models, different size models quite easily. And it does give you a rather nice, I think, very alien-esque looking model by the end of it. A lot of depth and color. But of course, you can be the judge of that when you get to the end of the video. You can let me know what you think. You can see how beautiful the Carroburg Crimson pulls that human skin tone. It's already looking like something that's just a little bit off. And it's something you don't want to be jumping out of the shadows at you. After this has been applied, we're now going to go into the dry brush stage. For this, we're going to be dry brushing 2 colors. We're going to start with Screaming Skull, which is a nice and bony color. And we're going to lightly dry brush this all over the skin, just catching those raised areas, adding a little bit of kind of like edge highlighting, or kind of like a bit of highlighting to all those soft parts. There will be another dry brush after this, even lighter again, which will go over the skin. And then that's the skin pretty much done. We're going to hit all of the in-between kind of muscly bits of it, a different color with a contrast a little bit later on. And that really does add something to the scheme as well. But like I said, the majority of the Tyranid army models are this skin, right? The carapace is an easy thing to paint. It's a skin that if you get done really fast and efficiently, painting the carapace takes 5 minutes. So the fact that my soft part of my model is done in such a fast and achievable way, I think is the primary reason why I've been able to do about 8,000 points of these guys so far in a very short period of time. And as you can see, the dry brush there did wonders. We're going to go back to Wraithbone, and we're going to have a very, very light dry brush once again across the skin, just catching the very sharpest points. As you can see, I'm just doing quick passes, nothing crazy. I don't want it to have much coverage at all with this particular stage. And you get to be as messy as you want with all of these colors up until this point. It's only now when we're going to move on and start actually painting the carapace that we're going to have to take our time and just be a little bit more careful with what we do. And that's okay. And as you can see, this is the skin. Apart from the stage we'll do later on in the soft parts, this is the skin done. I really like how it looks. Now it's time to move over to Stegadon Scale Green, and this is the first color we use to block in all of the chitin on this model. So obviously this guy is an infiltration specialist. It's obviously the most infiltrating of specialists in the Tyranid army, being the named lictor, the Deathleaper. So he's not crazily heavily armed. He's supposed to strike from the shadows. So there's not as much carapace as something like, I don't know, Carnifex or anything like that. But there is enough of it. It probably took me, I don't know, 5 minutes maybe to block in all of the carapace with the Stegadon Scale Green. Making sure to get all of it up and down his claws and his legs on the inside of his cape, all those kind of bits and pieces. His carapace actually splits there. There's another soft bit, so whenever you're doing the soft part, the skin part of it, make sure you do get in between those 2 pieces of carapace on his back. As you can see, I'm being super careful going up against that skin section that you can't really see from this angle. And with the Stegadon Scale Green, the Hive Fleet Morrigan scheme starts to come to life. From here, we're going to go over to Rattling Grime, and this is just a single coat of Rattling Grime that I applied to all of the claws and spiky bits and teeth, any of those bits on all the Tyranid models. This is literally all I do to them as well. It's kind of like a dirty, blacky, brown color. It does look like a natural kind of nail color or claw color, if you will. Some's going to be quite hard and durable. And if it snaps off, it'll just grow another one. With that stage done, it's time to move on and try and brighten up that carapace even more. So that's where we jump up to Altaitoc Blue. And this is where we go in again, but we're going for a feathering technique. So we just go with the natural direction of the chitin. So as you can see, it goes downward. So all we're doing is feathering downwards with the shape or the direction of the carapace. We're not trying to go all the way up to the very edge. We're not trying to get full coverage. We just want to create kind of a highlight color across this, just to make the blue on it strike out and stand out just a little bit more. And I think that really pale skin and blue armor really lends credence to the idea of it being set on a cold, frigid world. From here, the Doombull Brown stage comes in. This is the stage that really makes the armor or the chitin pop. And it's really watered down Doombull Brown. And then it is pin washed in between all of the chitin plates across the model. As you can see, it just flows through. Do 1 or 2 passes and that's it. And this just breaks up, just bringing a wall of blue to something that looks a little bit more alien-esque and a little bit more natural. It stops it making it look like armor plates and makes again want to look like something that's like nail or bone. It's an incredibly quick stage to do once again, thank God. But it does once again add to the horrid aesthetic of these miniatures. Really happy with how the model is looking so far. Not really a lot left to do, to be honest. I'm going to go in with a bit of Volupus Pink, and this is the bit that I was talking about, going between all of the soft join seals of the model's soft skin. So for instance, his claw folds out and you can definitely see a break between like the armored parts and then the soft squidgy bits. So we're going to be hitting all the softer parts with the Volupus Pink. So it's basically like elbows, shoulders, knees, all those bits. You'll see a definite differentiation between the armored skin parts and the softer seals, and then obviously inside the maw of their kind of big claws going up their back, there's definitely a softer bit which where all the spikes and stuff protrude from. Just hit that with a bit of Volupus Pink too. Once again, pushes it to a more natural and gross and awesome looking aesthetic. This is the stage that I didn't originally used to do on my Tyranids. I only started doing with the new stages of Tyranids. Like Von Ryan's Leapers, my first ones I did it on, and I love it. So now I have to go back and add it to many more of my older Tyranids. Imperial Fist contrast is what's going to be painted into the eyes. And then off camera, because everyone's going to want to base their miniature differently, I'm not going to show you guys how I did the base. If you're wondering, all the metally bits that I did in rust, as if this is just an old piece of building or detritus that's been hanging around. And then the ground got dry brushed with some greys, and then a lot of snow texture got added on top of both. As I said, this guy is stalking through the snow, and I think it suits him down to the ground. And that brings my Deathleaper to his conclusion. Really, really happy with how it turned out. I'm really excited to paint up the new Lictor as well. As once I was constructing that, I realized that there's in fact 3 different ways of building the new Lictor, so I want 3 of them so I can build one of each. Here's a few high resolution images of what it looks like finished. I must say I did have a lot of fun painting it up. And like I said, I haven't ignored the Norn Emissary. I know that is the big beastie from this release, and I have saved that to do for you guys for next Saturday's video. So you will be seeing that next Saturday, and I hope you're excited as well to see that as much as I am to actually make it. Okay guys, and there we have it. The Deathleaper is finished in my color scheme. I love how it turned out. It's going to set pride of place. I am fairly sure and 99% sure that I'm going to do a full infiltration army. Deathleaper leading a bunch of Leapers, Von Ryan's Lictors leading a bunch of Von Ryan Leapers, and then a few other goodies if I can think of what the correct infiltration organisms are. Some Gene Stealers and maybe some of the big Forge World running ones as well. It'd be kind of fun. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for sticking around at the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give the video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. It does make a huge difference. And ask me anything you want in the comments below. I will get back to each and every one of you guys. And yeah, that's about it. I'll see you guys in the next video.